I know
We
they watch
found
the
him.
show.
Dominic, we
I know.
found the fan.
Amen. That's
The
cool.
rest of them we have to Shanghai like old school maritime, like club them on the head. Next thing they wake up, they're on a not podcast.
Yeah, we have to hold our guests hostage now. It's a new start.
Poor people, yeah. And again,
Anyways.
to ladies from Terroir, my condolences and sincere thanks. It was awesome.
So we have to apologize to the guests we've had on.
I
First
literally
5
had to fly
minutes.
to Canada and offer, I'm sorry.
The first 5 minutes is apologies.
Yes.
Dominic, why are you looking silky smooth today?
I'm not sure, Jay.
I'm gonna say.
Why are you so
but
quiet? Did you cut caffeine out of your diet?
No.
Okay.
So Dom, are we gonna ask him what he's drinking tonight, and what are we gonna see in his hand that will be highly distracting?
I've had 2 coffees today, no energy drink, which I could use one.
That's good.
But I have had 2 coffees
Okay.
that I put.
How much
I don't know if
coffee
you
is
guys.
in your 2 coffees?
Well, it's interesting you asked that. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I have coffee, and then I take. So I have like the pods. So I do a pod coffee,
Yeah.
and then I take dry coffee, or what is it called? Freezer, whatever. What is it called?
Folgers
Instant?
crystals. Yes.
Yeah, instant.
coffee?
I take instant coffee, and I shake it in the coffee,
Oh,
and then I blend it, and I blend it together.
really? Just like that, AJ?
Well, actually, instant coffee you can make into a topping, like a whipped topping. Do it right.
Oh,
Did you know that?
Didn't know that.
Yeah, just whip coffee, instant coffee, water in the right dilution, aerate it with a whipper, and it will turn into a beautiful
whipper. What the fuck's a whipper?
I just made it up. A stirring device, an immersion mixer. But
as we order,
guys.
As our what?
Hey, here comes the bicker. All right, so before our guests flee out of the green room,
I was gonna say our guests are like, there you go. We made.
Yes, there will be vats of oil, but no guests. Okay.
Well, that leads us into the conversation that we're gonna have today. Yeah. I think it's really cool. We've got a cool company.
How do you find these guys? This is awesome.
I got people.
He's got people.
People. When you got silky smooth
when
guys,
you're silky smooth as Dom, you get people. God bless you. God love you, Dom. You're awesome, sir.
Thanks.
Yes. One day I'll grow up to be silky smooth, just like you.
Yeah, when your hair falls out, it's about next week.
Anyways, we have a great guest. We've got a great conversation around this. I like this stuff because it's foodish. It's in the. Well, it's not food,
it's a big industry.
No,
I mean, this is we're talking with
food.
big B, right? 10 billion is 10 the growth market, right? 10 billion.
Hey, did you work on the trivia?
Am I, do I do my business in the woods? Probably.
Anyways,
yes, I have come prepared with talking points and a little fun.
That's because his team works on that.
It's called me looking away while I type and do another work.
Yeah. Anyways, we have a great show. Thanks again for the guests that are going to be on. Let's do the intro. Let's get in here. Let's talk, and let's get into this deep conversation. And Dominic,
take us there, Big Smoothie.
Big Smoothie. Ooh, Big Smoothie. I like Silky Smoothie. I think he's more Silken Smoothie.
Well, have you seen?
He's silky smooth.
All right.
Don't mess with the Zohan.
Don't mess with the Zohan. Exactly.
Smooth. Yes.
You finally figured that out. I've been calling you this for 2 days, and now you put the pieces
That's
together.
my brother-in-law. We call him the Zohan because he's actually a hairdresser.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord. All right, let's go.
And his brother.
Welcome, gentlemen, to the Late Night Restaurant Show. Thank you for joining us. And like I said, we started this way. Sorry, but We are very excited to have you guys on here from Beyond Oil. I love the name. Let's hear more about it. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, I'll give a little background, I think, and Greg, I'll ask you to kind of give a little background too. But at a high level, I've done 3 things in my life. I started working in restaurants at 13, and I never left. Right. So I've been an operator, I've been a chef, a restaurant owner, a catering owner. Eventually, I decided that I didn't want to work 120 hours a week and make less than my dishwasher. So I went back to get a degree, and in the process became a culinary educator. And after I finished my degree, I decided, selling food sounded kind of fun. So I took that Cisco path that Jay, you're well familiar with, started as a distributor sales rep in the New England market, and got my teeth kicked in at pizza shops and diners, and learned how to sell stuff and have some fun. And along the way, I've really gotten passionate about bringing sort of new innovative products to the independent operator and to the food service market, and things that can make their operations cleaner and safer and more sustainable, and maybe improve their food quality. And if we're lucky, put a few dollars back in their pockets. So thank you again for having us on.
No, thank you. This is a great topic. And I think when we look at oil, there's lots to learn, right? There's lots to learn about oil. And I always love this conversation because I learn something all the time. And I am grateful. So thank you again for the time you're going to spend with us. And we got lots of questions, but let's talk about Beyond Oil. Tell us more about it. Like where's the company from? Where you guys started? All this good stuff.
Yeah, so we were, the product was invented, at least I call the Mark I, about 15 years ago overseas in the Middle East. And it was actually invented as a health aid. It was to cure indigestion and acid reflux. And it was, believe it or not, it was,
wow.
It was, meant for one person for a very specific purpose. And when it worked, there's sort of a eureka moment. And now this worked and we want to know why. So that led to converting a garage into a lab and hiring a chemist and doing all sorts of research. And along the way, when you research a product, you test how it interacts with different mediums. And they knew that this product could absorb acid, but they hadn't tested it on other things. So they tested it on oils and were really blown away by the way it interacts with what are called the degradation components in the oil. So when you constantly reheat oil in a fryer, right, the oil doesn't go black because you cook some chicken in it and the chicken and the carbon blackened. It's actually chemical reactions and different bad actors that are chemically being created in that fryer. That oil's composition is changing. And so when they tested this product and how it absorbs things, they found that it absorbs all of those degradation components from the oil and then removes it. So in essence, what was born was the first self-filtering oil filtration powder.
And does that turn into like a precipitate at the bottom when it mixes, it bonds with it and drops? So I imagine it weights it, and that's how you get it out.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just the powder is it's all natural. It's plant and mineral based, and it just weighs more than the oil. So if you don't have a filter machine, you mix this powder, and I've got a video I can show you at some point, but you mix the powder into the oil at the end of the night, and you just let gravity take over. And what happens is all of those degradation components, the trans fats, the free fatty acids, a really nasty one, who I call the Thanos of the mix, acrylamide, which is a carcinogen, right? It's actually the same carcinogen that's in cigarette smoke. That forms in the oil when you cook starchy foods at high temperature, especially French fries. So
what is
our
that
product
one?
is
What's the name of that one?
acrylamide.
Acrylamide.
That could be a Marvel villain. Oh, it's acrylamide.
Really
yeah.
And so what the analogy that I use, right, is there are some products on the market that are one hero. It's one ingredient that does one thing, and it's able to attack fryer oil in certain ways. But our product is multi-ingredient, so it's actually a team of superheroes that's able to attack the team of supervillains that's going on within that oil.
Wow, a team of superheroes.
I set the bar.
This guy's speaking my language. I'm trying not to cannonball in and just blow this all up.
Well, it's really a great story because it's a true entrepreneurial story.
Yeah.
That started in the Middle East. It started in Israel, and as we mentioned, kind of leading up to this, things started for us. We're set up in Canada and trading on the Canadian market, and we've really just begun here very recently our launch into the U.S. and it's rapidly growing in other countries. We have recently picked up some distributor partnerships in Mexico, India, and some other countries. Australia, we just announced as well. So we're moving really fast in the right direction. And I think you're going to hear a lot of exciting stuff about us going forward.
Very cool.
I have a question because it just occurs to me almost immediately, right? So there's an application for filtration of oil or something, mal solids and things in the oil that will continue to degrade and break it down, right? Is there an application for the similar technology or version of this that you guys looked at for whether like biological remediation, oil cleanup, or anything that would actually affect oil itself as when we're talking about bigger problems, another big problem, right? Spills and stuff like that. Is there a commercial application for this kind of thing you're working on that might help that in some way, or is that another area? Just it's not our thing.
Well, the short answer is we think that there is, but really our focus right now is on improving the health aspects of fried food. And so I don't think there's anyone out there who is going to say that fried food is good for you, right? I think it's universally known that it's not.
How old was I when I found this out?
It's your chicken fingers are not equivalent to a kale salad. Let's just be honest.
Well, that makes sense with salad.
There is an opportunity to make fried food significantly healthier, and our product is the only product available on the market that's been proven to do that in the way that we do. We actually dissolve that carcinogen, by the way, is an acrylic, and we actually dissolve it. So we're the only product that's ever been found to do that.
And what happens to that byproduct, that precipitate or whatever at the end of the process?
In the trash.
What do they do? So if you're not mechanically filtering it, it settles to the bottom, and then what? You scoop it out?
Yeah. So can I show you like a 45-second video?
Yeah,
Jason do it though.
Yeah, I got it here. Just keep talking. I'll bring it up.
Great. So keep
talking, Dom.
This is Oscar language. You guys stretch it out. Yeah.
Stretch it out.
Go ahead, Jason.
You can use our product in a filtration machine if you already have one. And certainly we talk to a lot of enterprise level customers who have those machines and see a really good, in some cases, customers get 1,000% oil life increase by using our product. But even if you are a food truck, if you are a wing place, right, a mom and pop, an independent, and you don't have those machines, you literally drop the oil into a stock pot or a bucket at the end of the night, you mix the powder in and you go home. And it just does what it does overnight.
Cool. And we made it pretty foolproof. That's packed in a dose application for a standard 50-pound fryer. And it really couldn't be simpler. There's no special dispensing equipment.
Nice.
You simply mix it in and stir or blend it in. And
am I blending it in hot oil or cold oil, or does it matter?
Hot.
Good question.
Hot.
Great question.
That's good too, because if it needed to be cold, it wouldn't happen, right? People would shut off the fryer and leave.
Well, it probably works differently.
really
The viscosity at temperature is different too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Alrighty, so here's the video that we have.
So we just recommend they use one of these filter bags to catch all the crumbs, and that allows the powder to work on the degradation components and not the crumbs. But you stir it for 2 minutes and then you go home. And this is what happens overnight. It just purifies the oil, and all of the powder, which has now absorbed the degradation components, just settles to the bottom of the pot, and it actually looks like molasses.
Wow.
Are you no way.
What's the cost? Clearly you're not buying more oil, right? Or you're not. Your oil use is dropping significantly here. So I imagine you're already making money, so to speak, by utilizing this. What is the cost for this, or per batch, per bag, per just general recycle?
Yeah, so it's I mean it's market specific and all over the world it's going to be a little bit different, but
Sure.
what we can say is at a high level most customers will be cost neutral and some customers will save money. Some of our customers save a substantial amount of money, right? When you talk about oils that can be anywhere from 90 cents a pound up to $1.80 a pound.
Yeah.
If you can cut 50 pounds out of whack per fryer, 3
Wow.
changes the fryer a week.
Yeah.
It's financially, it's a home run for the operator.
Is it getting rid of like smoked? Meaning, like sometimes it's just the dissolved solids in there, they're getting burned up. And is it removing those mal flavors or poor attributes of it and making it a clean oil again by flavor as well?
Yeah. So what it actually does is, and the smoking is not just crumb. It's the degradation of the oil itself that leads to smoking. So by removing those degradation components, you almost reset the oil back to its peak, state every day.
Wow.
And so as anyone, if you want to put some science behind it, and I really think that that's sort of what we've done here is we've put science behind the fryer in a way that has never been available to the independent operator. Any cook who cooks a steak or a piece of chicken knows that the higher the temperature of the grill, the better the sear on the meat, the better the outcome of the steak. It retains the moisture. Well, that's all the Maillard reaction. Yeah. And our product actually enhances the Maillard reaction of the oil by removing those degradation components. So it actually takes less to kind of heat that oil and get that flash reaction to get that sear on the food that keeps the juiciness and the tenderness. And so the food quality aspect of this, right? It's not just a health application. The food quality is off the charts.
So we're
Greg kind of alluded earlier to the quality of the oil that the customer's starting with. So if I'm buying crap, like how much is this going to fix? Like if I'm buying crap, I'm probably not filtering it anyway, right? I don't know. Like,
well, it's interesting. If you utilize the product in the new jib of oil, you can improve the quality rather significantly.
Wow.
Just the oil without even like just the way it comes, Greg? Is that what you mean?
Yep. So when it comes
really?
in, if it has what would be considered a higher TPM, you make the treatment, we're seeing that lowered in some cases pretty significantly.
Wow.
Cool. So oil doesn't come like some of those inexpensive, not shitty, like Dominic said, inexpensive. Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Anyways, it's not pure. Like there's still product in that. Like you can.
Just as beef has quality grades, right? Prime, select, cutter, tanner.
Yep.
Oil has quality grades as well. The difference is there's no legislation, at least in North America, that requires the manufacturer to tell you what the quality grade is.
Wow.
Now you can, if you're buying,
FDA doesn't cover that.
No, maybe they will, but not yet.
Wow.
So what we found is, right, and we actually, this guy here is called a TPM meter. This is what I call the $500 science stick that no one in North America knows exists. This is how you tell when oil truly needs to be thrown away, what the actual quality is. It's the only way. Every cook has some method, the color or it's smoking or, I've had guys say I take a piece of toast and if it sinks, I throw away the oil. And if it floats, I save the oil. And like, okay, well, I'm not eating at your restaurant, but thank you.
Wow.
But we test oil right out of the case, which is called a jib, and we find it anywhere from a 1% TPM for really good oil, all the way up to 12-14% for the low-cost oil. The global standard is the oil has to be thrown away at 26%. So if you're buying oil that's coming into your restaurant back door at 12-14%, it's already half dead. So you're only going to get a day out of it or 2 days because that's what it's meant. It's just what it's meant to do.
What's TPM stand for? Is it parts per million or something like that? What?
Total polar material.
Greg, what if it's funny, Greg?
No, PPM. It's very close to PPM, total polar material, and it's just the measurement of all the bad guys that are in there.
Got it. Thank
right?
you.
And that's a
Okay.
pretty sophisticated, if you measured ppm in sanitizer, use those little strips, if you remember,
Mhm.
right? That the meter is considerably more
Accurate.
sophisticated and gives you a very accurate reading and brings some science to it, right? Some science to, I'm going to float my piece of toast in there.
Yeah, you actually know, right?
You actually know. And the really interesting thing is, as you use this product, you'll see changes within the kitchen.
Mm.
You'll see changes within the store if it's in a supermarket. There won't be that oil smell that you are so familiar with.
Yeah.
That will disappear, go away, or be minimized tremendously with use of the product.
Oh,
That's pretty crazy. Okay, so I know this is different for a lot of operators and the cost. I got to ask the quash.
quashed. Yeah,
The
just
quash.
Yes.
The cost is it expensive when we use this product? And I know that's a loaded question, but like, is this product is really expensive, or is it inexpensive to do this with the product because you are prolonging the life of the oil and making it better?
I would answer by saying it's perhaps at a higher price point than an item that would be on the market already that does part of this, okay, that might get part of the bad guys. But when you look at the total picture,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at things like labor savings for the staff, the reduction in the number of boil outs that you have to do, the amount of oil that is reduced,
Yeah.
which is crazy numbers in some cases. They're like unbelievable. You're going to find that there's a value proposition there in many cases. And at the very least, what we've seen is that we're cost neutral at this point.
You know, and I'm glad you brought that up, Greg, because I think a lot of the times people especially in our industry, and I deal with this every day, is that we're having to educate more and more because there was, I know Beck went to oil school when he was young, but Dominic missed it. We didn't have the opportunity to learn about these things. It's the same thing as no one taught us how to buy groceries. It was probably
Oil
taught by
school?
it was taught by our parents, right? How to buy groceries. And then we figured out how to open a restaurant. No one really taught us. So I'm glad you brought that up because I get this question a million times a day is about cost and that kind of stuff.
Well,
And we have
on
to
the
teach
industrial
value. We
side,
have to teach value.
Is there? I would imagine on the industrial side, potato chips or chicken nuggets. Do you have any customers on the industrial side that are using your product yet? Because
So we are
savings there would be huge. For them.
Talking to a lot of those guys. There's obviously a high level of interest to remove these degradation components in that application. The only thing we have to do is we have to invent a dispenser, frankly. So the way that those machines work and the way our product would mix, it just needs a custom build. And so we're working on that.
Cool.
More to come there. But, when you talk about cost, what I really want to kind of the rabbit hole I want to briefly go down is like anything else, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. Now, if you're buying the lowest grade oil on the market and you're throwing it away every 2 days, this product will get you to 6, 7, 8 days. If you're buying a middle of the road oil that is coming out of the jib at 6 TPM, you can get 20, 21, 30 days. But if you buy the high oleic, like the high oleic canolas that are really meant for the temperature abuse and the staff abuse of the kitchen. I mean, we have a guy overseas that's on day 85 right now. And his food is coming out every single day looking perfect, like brand new oil.
Wow.
So it's, and look, some customers are going to be more than happy. Like, holy crap, you got me from 2 days to 6 days. Thank you. That's amazing. And that's all they want. But if you want to really put some process behind it and some science behind it, we're here to help you do that. And we can get you into the 45, 60-day mark.
That's insane. That would save Dom's back once in a while, pouring oil into those fryers.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that it's probably it's like anything else. I think, right? The people that are on that watching quality, that's going to be an easy sell. they're going to understand it right away. The harder thing might be, and you know, Jay and I talk about this a lot, is the people that actually need the help and need to put this into place are the ones that are going to be most resistant to it, because they're going to say, "Oh, it's an extra $2 a day. You're going to triple the life of my oil. I don't believe it," and they're not going to do it, even though they need it the most.
And I completely agree with you. And so, Dom, I did something today that I want you to digest this sentence. I ate gas station fried chicken today that was cooked in 18-day oil.
Nice.
Oof.
And I'm not in the ER. I feel fine.
It sounds like an episode of Futurama where things start breeding and getting smart.
He hasn't had to have any Tums or Lloyds. So.
We'll have to bring that with Bill Oakley. We'll talk about that with Bill. Wow.
But you're right. Now, there's a significant education piece that comes to a product like this because, you know, in my own journey, right, I went to a career tech high school for culinary arts. I then went to one of the best schools for culinary for about a year in Providence, Johnson & Wales. And I went out and I worked in the industry, and I worked 120 hours a week up until my late 20s. And at no point in any of that education did anyone ever tell me one thing about fryer oil.
No.
Not my high school instructor, not my college
So
instructors,
true.
not my bosses. Right? It was just, hey, that's the fryer. Throw it away on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Do you think that's because culinary schools aren't worried about margins except what they sell at the deli and the diner?
No, I think they're worried about the safety implications of having an 18-year-old managing 350-degree oil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's probably the smarter call.
Yeah.
No, it's a really good point. There's a lot of things they don't teach, unfortunately, that we have to learn the hard way in this industry, right? And that happens. It is what it is. But I'm blown away, gentlemen. I think it's awesome product. I foresee it in many applications across in different restaurants and everything else that could use this. It's incredible.
I don't know what I don't even know if it's the same, but I've seen there's a product out there now that's a powder that you add to your oil. Without naming names, what is that and how does this compare to that?
Yeah, so most of those are a single ingredient, right? And it's back to that one hero attacking one thing. It's just magnesium sulfide. It's a single ingredient. The major differentiator is that if you have mechanical filtration, you can get a 30% to 40% oil life increase with that product.
Right.
With ours, you don't need that mechanical filtration. You just, as you saw, pour it in and you're good to go. And we get a 300 to 1,000% increase.
That's a massive difference.
Jeez, that's huge difference.
It's almost unbelievable when we say it. And what we do is we go out and observe an operation, right? We spend whatever it is, a day, 2 days. We look at the SOP. This is what your SOP says. This is what's really happening. And then we implement the program with fresh.
That's really cool that you said that, because the SOP of what's supposed to be happening and what's really happening are almost always different, correct?
It could be different. It could be different. And we've all seen that throughout our careers at one time or another. And we start with new oil, start with the program. And as long as you're on that program, we're seeing, I mean, it's truly unbelievable results with this.
Does the temperature of the oil get affected? If they're inaccurate in their temp, if they're supposed to be at 370, but really they're frying at 390, or they're frying at 330, does that affect the product?
So that's actually a really great point. And it's not that it affects the product. It's that's the number one way that your restaurants are burning up their oil and killing it. It's overheating. So we don't have any scientific data to back this up yet. But what our customers are telling us is that most of them are turning their fryer down from 350 to 325.
Wow.
Because that Maillard reaction is enhanced to the point that they no longer need to heat the oil to 350. And so really it becomes, right, there's certain things that you can do that are, no matter how good your oil is, you're going to destroy it. If you're salting your fries into the oil, the salt sprays the oil, your toast. If you don't rinse the fryer out after you boil it out, the soap residue will, create some problems there. But if you just really, if you follow the instructions on a product like this, the difference is amazing.
The quality of the product that comes out when you're using Beyond Oil is also dramatically enhanced. The product will stay crisp. Think of French fries or chicken fingers. They will stay crispier longer. And, you know, everybody's using a third-party delivery service or what have you. You put something in a car for 30 minutes or 40 minutes or however long, and it's not going to stay crispy in a lot of cases. Always going to get cold, right? And that can be overcome and is typically overcome, but you're able to keep the product much crispier with third party, crispier in a display case. If you've got it out in a display case, it is absolutely fantastic in that regard.
Is that because oils become hydrogenated over time, and then that's kind of there's some resident water, or how is that affected?
So again, it's that Maillard reaction. When the oil is degraded, the food absorbs more. So if you walk into, you know, a QSR restaurant 20 years ago, they'd have a chart on the wall, and it would be the French fry at day 1, at day 2 oil, at day 3 oil, and then at day 4 there's a big X on it, and that needs to go in the trash. The oil needs to go in the trash. They understand that as the oil degrades, the food quality degrades proportionally. And really, the best thing to do from a food quality perspective would be to throw the oil away every day, but that's too expensive. So they manage it to the point that they deem it unmanageable. With our product, you reset the oil back to its peak condition. So every day you cook, you're cooking in brand new oil.
It's like a total hack. I love it.
Yeah.
It's very sci-fry. I came up with that sci-fry.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing,
cool.
Well, I think it's the cool part is just the amount of money that you save operators. And I really do, because this is a big area that I work with customers on today, that, you know, I say it's the old days of counting pennies, but we don't even have pennies anymore, but it's half a penny if you made one again. And it's so important that we're watching every point of customer experience. All these things add up. And if it is a part where you're using it a lot all the time, that needs to be a part of your calculation. And when you're looking at your profit and everything else that you're doing, you have to look at what's running your engine. And that is, you know, oil in a sense for this application for businesses and stuff like this. And most restaurants don't take it into consideration that I see. And it does have an impact down the line on the quality of product, the crispiness, like Greg said. All these things are so important. And at the end of the day, no one taught us this stuff. So we divert to the most inexpensive. And to me, that's not the answer. It's looking at this and understanding it and going back to almost like oil school, if you want to call it that, but just really looking at the business in more of a business sense, opposed to a savings sense mindset for businesses. And I think we need to do more of that when it comes to this industry. So
you can't save yourself to success.
You know, it's funny. You're exactly right, Greg. And I always say this to the customers and the groups I coach is I don't think in the history of our industry that restaurants grew or franchises grew because they saved themselves to success. It was the front. I always say you make more money through the front door than the back door. And I really believe that. And you're absolutely right. And I think we need more people to invent products like this and bring products to the market like this, because, and educate us like you guys do. And thank you for coming on our show and sharing this with us, because it's important that we teach people about this.
So is it available with all the broadline distributors now, or like, where is it available?
So we've just launched in North America. We've just launched in North America within the past couple of months. In Canada, we have a distribution partner out of Vancouver. And actually, I gave you, Jay, a QR code if anyone wants to scan and get in touch with one of our distributors. But in the States, we sell some deals direct, and then we also have an importer with a network of distributors who, you know, gets after little markets. But I wanted to kind of go back to what Jay was saying about the sort of the strategy. And I think at a high level, right, if you, and look, I did it. I opened my first restaurant when I was 27. I had no money and I had no business opening a restaurant. So when I went and shopped for fryers, the last thing I was going to do was spend an extra $20, $30, $40, $50,000 on a unit with filtration, because number one, I didn't have the money, and number two, no one told me why I should spend it.
Yeah.
If you're a global QSR group, you know why you should manage your oil, and you invest in the equipment necessary to do that. But if you're a mom and pop, no one's ever told you why you should do it, and you don't have the money to do it. Now you finally have a product on the market that allows you to manage your oil, because we know that managing your oil manages your quality. So you can you can actually take this mantra, as Jay was putting, where people look at the fryer as a cost center, and you can start to look at it as a profit center instead. So you can talk to your customers about sustainability. Hey, we implemented Beyond Oil, and we removed 70% of our raw oil purchases from our supply chain. Think about what that did from a carbon impact from CO2 emissions, right? We got rid of all these trans fats and free fatty acids and carcinogens from the oil, which is in the food you eat. It's also, by the way, in the air you breathe. When you go and open a restaurant, right, you have to have that conversation with the fire marshal, and you have to put a hood in because your equipment produces grease-laden vapor. That fryer, all that oil bubbling actually aerates those components, and that is in the air that the back of the house cooks are breathing. So when you remove those components, that's why we remove the smell of the fryer from the operation, because we remove the degradation components from the oil. It actually removes it from the air as well. So I think it's really, this product allows the operator to have a conversation with their customer, right? That, hey, we're taking these steps to do things that we know are important to you. Sustainability and health are certainly at the top of those lists.
Well, gosh, if I'm my brain now goes to employer of choice kind of designations. Like if some restaurants use certain apps or things to help manage schedules, what would it mean to a teenager who's a big part of the workforce that they might not be getting oil in their pores and make them pimply and have I mean, if you could literally promote that, that would probably be a nice thing to promote. No, because you work in the fry.
I agree.
Does not help anything for dating.
The
ever.
no pimple workplace.
I'm going to tell you my favorite story. I'm going to tell you my favorite Beyond Oil story. So we had a customer who started using our product on a Monday, and on Thursday, he gets
rubbing
home
it
and
into
his
his
wife
skin.
says, "Where were you tonight?" And she says, he says, I was at the
He didn't
restaurant.
smell.
She says, "Don't lie to me. I know what you smell like when you get
son
home
of a
from the
bitch."
restaurant.
No.
You weren't at the restaurant. Who is she? I want to know her name. What's her number? I want to talk to her. And so
And he handed him your card.
He had to bring his wife into the
Wow.
restaurant to show her that the
Smell
restaurant
it.
no longer
Smell
smells
it.
like oil.
That's
Shows him the
great.
little package.
It's almost like, well, he never knew before, but now it's Beyond Oil. That is awesome.
So, well, first of all, that's definitely a commercial. I can see it right now. I can definitely see it. Gentlemen, I want to wrap up here just because I know everyone's crunched for time, but I just want to thank you for reaching out, Jason, and contacting me on LinkedIn. Thank God for LinkedIn nowadays. And being able to bring this great product into North America, but also to our attention at our show here. And we'll put all the information of where people can find you and all your website on our show, and we'll put it out with some of the clips that we do from tonight. But I just want to thank you both for your time and being able to share this with us. And what a great product, what a great story. And I look forward to see it across the country here.
My one question though, where can we see you in person next? Are you guys going to be doing any shows this year, meeting up with people?
Yep. We've got
we've got
shows scheduled. First one coming up is the big New York show.
Oh, what's the big New York show?
At Javits Center. The dates, Jason's going to rattle off the dates. He knows.
Yeah, I think it's the 23rd of next month. But the big one, certainly Chicago, NRA.
NRA,
yep. We're going to be there. We're actually going to be in the Emerging Brands Pavilion, which is exactly where we want to be.
Cool.
We'll actually be doing some really interesting demos in the booth, and I know that you're going to be there. I heard that on a show the other day. So
I will be reporting live, and I can even come by and do some coverage for you at your booth. Yeah, let's just plan on it. It'll be great.
That'd be great.
Yeah. We'll we're definitely going to be there, and we're going to be going around like Mr. Beck said. And Dominic, maybe we'll put a little bit on Dominic's forehead, make him
you
extra
go.
silky
No, we
smooth.
don't want to dull that shine.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Then make it extra shiny. That's awesome, gentlemen. We'll definitely make sure to drop by and we'll connect. We're in Chicago. But thanks again for your time today. Really
Thanks,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Thank
Absolutely.
you, guys.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so
It's our
much.
pleasure, guys.
Yep.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
That was
Awesome.
really cool.
Yeah.
I feel
I'm
like Mr.
actually
Wizard should
amazed
have
how
been
much
here
you
to
know
explain
about
the
oil.
Me
science. You
or
know.
him? Who?
Who?
Who
No,
were
I
you
was talking
amazed
to
by?
Beck.
Okay.
What about
I'm
it?
impressed.
He
Well,
said
you
his
about your
dad
oil
had a
knowledge.
cheese place.
Oh, I'll pull all kinds of stuff out of my you know what. Hey, do you guys want to do a little quick trivia or just like I have a question for you?
Well, no, I just want to say that background there when you put it on, I was like, I know
It's
you want to
oil
be a
art.
I want. Well, I thought I thought you looked like a peacock.
Yeah. All right.
I
You
was
guys
like,
ready
I
for
know
oil
you. I
trivia?
know
This
you
is
want to
oil
be a
restaurant
peacock.
trivia. It's not even trivia. It's a
Bring it
little
on,
general
bring it on,
knowledge.
Bring it on.
All right,
Bring it on.
all right.
Like make it so we can guess.
Well, I'm gonna give you. I'm just gonna give you two
Go
things,
back
and
to
you
the
can.
peacock.
You have to tell me what the difference is. So often I hear
Okay,
people say,
bring it
"I
on.
caramelize this," right? And our friend who was just on here said a phrase a few times called Maillard, right?
Yep.
Who can tell me the difference between caramelization and Maillard?
Mm.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And the answer is suck it, Trebek. No, what is the answer? Do you know? Do you know, Dominic?
Jay must know. Jay's the
Come on,
chef.
restaurant guys.
No, I have no idea. Honestly,
Are we live? Can people chime in and tell us?
no, we're not
Anybody?
live.
Oh,
We're not
okay.
live.
It's Memorex. All right. So the answer is that Maillard is going to be something you're going to see more on steaks, right? It's a protein-based reaction that has to do with the chemical reaction with the amino acids in the actual piece of meat. Right.
How do you know that?
I went to culinary school and I paid attention. And then the yeah, and caramelization
Beck,
is,
you're
as it
surprised every
implies, it has
second.
to do with the sugars being browned, right?
Mm.
Yeah, but Maillard has to do with amino acids, and that it's a chemical event.
You're a smart cookie.
At least that's
I just
my
realized.
memory of it. Now, if anybody listening now wants to call bullshit on me, please do and correct me. I think I remember this, but
You know, Mr. Beck, you surprise me so much every day.
even a
You know.
blind chicken can get a little corn every now and then.
Even a silky smooth guy can get.
Wow.
There's my peacock. See, I'm spreading the
anyways.
feathers. There-
Gentlemen, that was interesting, as you can imagine. Actually, it
We're
was
getting really
really
like
good.
kind
I
of
like this
serious
stuff.
subject matter. Like I think oil is a really interesting.
Oh, I
subject.
know.
There's so
We had
many
to break it
directions you
up.
could
We
go,
have to
right?
break it up. We have to make our shows all different. They can't always be
Absolutely.
about.
To your point, Jay, I think what and same as they said, it's not talked about. Like he said in culinary school, it's not talked about. It's not.
Oh.
And Michael, to what you said, what's the reason? It probably is the safety reason, and
Oh, 100%.
maybe
I believe
rightfully
that for
so,
sure.
right? It's a big dangerous beast.
Now-
in the
But I
in
do
the
believe
restaurant.
culinary schools operate with a not with the opposite of a scarcity mindset. They have an abundance mindset because their kids are paying 20, 30 grand a year
Right.
to buy food, to prepare, to sell to people from the school.
Yeah,
That's a hell of a racket.
Dominic, do you have any stats on like burns and stuff?
I don't, Jay,
for-
not off the
you should.
no.
Well, I have to say, is I burnt my legs once. Like I poured. Now
Oh,
this is back in the my KFC days, way back when I started. I was 14. I poured a jug of oil, hot oil, out of the fryer. It wasn't like at the temp that 350 ish. It was probably in the 275. It was still warmish, shnikey. I dropped my drawers, but because the pants.
what? You got oil in your legs and your pants fell off?
No, I took them off because it was burning. So the pants that they make you wear,
Yes.
the KFC and stuff like this, it prevented
melted.
it from burning. Yeah, like it prevented burning my legs.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I remember that, and I dropped them down because it hurt.
Yeah.
So I have had that, and I know that the stats are incredibly high when it comes
Burns,
to that.
cuts, slip, trip, and fall, back injuries. They're all way up there, right?
Now, Beck, I'm going to give you a little homework here, and to everyone else, There's a video that came out a long time ago. Dom, I think you, I don't know, it might have been when you showed it to me was
Oh, always throw
BC
water on a grease fire, right?
No, absolutely not.
I'm totally
No.
kidding. That's bad information. Do not use it.
bad. Yeah, no, don't do that. Go to BC. So British Columbia had a whole thing
Yeah.
about safety and stuff like this. Look up
Yeah.
on YouTube, BC restaurant oil accidents, and you
Hmm.
will see something, and you'll see why it's a very serious thing. And there's an example there. They actually, I think, had to ban it even on TV because it was such a dramatic video. They really good job to make people think a little bit about, like Dominic said, the slip, trip, and falls that happen in kitchens. And I just know experiencing it. I was probably 16 and I hurt
Mm.
and it sucked. And that's because it's not, to your point, in a restaurant, it's not the executive chef doing the oil.
Yeah.
It's the 16-year-old that just got his first job doing the oil.
And then
And
let's come back to training and learning. Like, how much instruction do you get on how to do it?
No.
You get like a 3-minute quick instruction, and then the person that taught you is out the door, and then it's up to you. So it's definitely an area that needs attention.
You're never getting out without
Like-
getting
like-
burned at a restaurant. You will get burned.
you will. And a cut.
Yeah.
Cut and a burn.
So last trivia question real quick.
Bring it on.
All right, let's talk smoke points. Right?
Oh, like, what are you going
Yeah.
all in
At
on?
what
this?
temperature? Or okay, you don't have to say the temperature. Let's make it easier.
I
What are
know
the
the-
top 3 oils that have the highest smoke points?
Highest smoke point?
Highest smoke point.
Avocado,
Bing, bing, bing. Number 1. What's number 2?
grapeseed,
Nope.
peanut.
Nope.
Wait.
Shoot.
So
I
avocado
got-
was first.
What? Yeah, avocado you nailed. That's 520 degrees. That's smoke.
520.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's Fahrenheit though.
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Celsius. Okay.
520. I thought it
Yep.
was like 400 and something.
Yep.
520.
Yep.
So grapeseed's not it.
It's not the one, no.
How about corn?
Nope.
That'd be
I said
Maybe-
grapeseed. I said avocado. Peanut was no.
tallow.
Nope.
I don't know. Back, you got us.
Let you off the hook. And one I just found at Costco the other day, strangely enough, hadn't heard about it. But safflower
Coconut.
oil is number 2.
Oh,
Oh,
sunflower.
saffron.
Yeah, safflower at 510.
Yeah.
And rice bran oil comes in 3 at 490. And we saw that the first time ever this weekend. I literally happened to buy a gallon of rice flour or rice oil.
So can I
Rice
tell
bran
you?
oil.
Can I tell you and our listeners a story then about oil?
And then he got
Please-
lubed up.
please
Let's
don't.
hear what happened.
No,
There was
no,
a grease.
no,
there
no,
was a pig.
no,
and he tried
no,
to
no,
catch
this
the
is-
pig
this
in
fall-
a little swimming pool.
No, this is go blue. It's I have to say, I remember peanut oil. Now, I bet you guys don't know this, but if you don't consume a lot of peanut oil, and then you have a party, and because you're a chef and you cook calamari for the first time with peanut oil, the next day everyone will be lined up to the washroom hating you.
Do you mean
creates like a-
making
well, it's like it's like a laxative.
Natural laxative.
yes,
it's a natural laxative.
natural
No.
gentle
The
gentle
calamari is or the
Yeah.
calamari peanut combination?
I think it's the peanut oil is what
I think it's just
researched.
the idea of greasy squid.
No, it's
Grease-
peanut oil. It's peanut oil because your body doesn't digest it like it does
Oh.
canolas and different things like
Huh.
this. So
Interesting.
you have to hit the washroom.
You sure
I
it
have
wasn't
seen it.
something else at your shitty restaurant, Jay?
No. This was no,
Literally a shitty restaurant.
it was definitely shitty. But just so you know, peanut. I do know that, and I think that's a big thing.
Peanut
I've
oil.
seen restaurants do it before, but it will make you hit the washroom really good.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
Thanks,
my story.
Good story.
You guys
All
talk, you talk trivia, and I
You're
talk about
talking
how it
shit.
makes you go to the bathroom. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, that's all I got for oil.
is that all you got for oil, Dom?
That's all I got for oil.
No, yeah, I
So
got
close.
nothing else in oil.
This is usually when we make. I'm going to say something rude about Italians and oil.
All right. Yeah.
No,
No.
No, absolutely not, Jay.
no.
No skin conditions. No.
You guys invented oil. I think the
Olive
Italians
oil.
invented it.
Olive oil's the best.
And it was
olive
invented
oil,
by you guys.
They say it doesn't have a high smoke point. It doesn't, but you can fry in olive oil.
Yes, absolutely.
It's expensive. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but it's probably, with avocados, probably the best for you.
You know,
What
I
is-
have this vision of you like in Florida and you're just bathing in this olive oil gold necklace. Speedo.
He's basically Xerxes from 300 riding in on a
there's,
golden throne of people carrying him in.
There's starting to be emerging science that all the sunscreens are bad for you, and you should be using olive oil.
See?
You ever see the Seinfeld?
No? Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes. That's what I thought of you
You
last
grease
week.
yourself and
Something smells good. It's awesome.
Wow.
Well, gentlemen, have a great evening. Thanks again for talking
Cheers,
oil.
guys.
Beyond Oil, thanks again for your time. And everyone else, we have a break now, guys, for one day.
Oh, you really? You're not going to have me get off right after work and jump over here to another thing that's going to take me away from my family in the middle of the day? I love it. Thanks.
I am sorry for the time. That will
I
happen.
know. I'm just kidding. Good fences make great neighbors, everybody.
Dominic, stay silky smooth.
Silky smooth.
Silky smooth.
Bye.